Okay. That was nice. That was lovely. Made some pasta. Little Parmesan. Little white sauce. I finally watched. I've never seen the video of Pachirisu win the world championship. So that was pretty neat. I actually sat down and watched that video. I hate being one of those people that can't, like, eat without watching a video. But I was just scrolling and I was just like, you know, I've never actually seen that fight. So I sat down and watched that battle. Pretty interesting. Although we're kind of getting away from that that power scale. Alright, so we failed the first cast. Nice. We're starting at 413. Anybody else rocking? This feels like a good 100. Oh wow, no, not even close. Very nice. Are you playing yourself? Are you playing the old DC2? Very nice. I have been thinking about playing on PC lately, just because, again, I could have the dev menu open right now, and, well, I don't know if it's the dev menu. I think it's the dev menu. Or it's the debug menu, whatever. And I could spawn in lures, just at will, and then I could have like fun doing that. But there's other things I would end up doing if I played on PC. Oh, what was it the other day I was just talking about? There was a mod that I was saying would absolutely like fix things in this game. I hope my computer's good enough to run Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm gonna be honest, I know nothing about computer specs. I don't even remember what the specs are. All I remember doing was when I finally wanted to get a computer. Yeah, it's confusing. I googled like what the best money could buy from Reddit was, and then like I found a thread where somebody was just like, okay, now like what's a reasonable computer? And I like found one like within the price range that I found reasonable, and then I just basically went from website to website until I found a pre-built with those stats. I still didn't know what they meant, but like they said it was good enough. But Dragon's Dogma 2 is, I mean, it's as new of a game as I'm going to be playing. It's coming out in 2 weeks. So, like, I actually don't know if my computer from last year will run it. I hope it will. I mean, in my mind, it should. But, like, it doesn't mean it will. I mean, it's, like, from what I understand from the outside looking in, that's, like, the epitome of PC culture. It's like, oh, yeah, I just upgraded. And it's like, damn, didn't you upgrade a week ago? Yeah, I like to upgrade every 4 days, though. So it's been a little low on the upgrades. But, like, man, I hope my PC can run Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm assuming it can. I should find the manual for it here soon. I think Steam tells you what you need, so yeah, I could figure it out by the end of the day. I should do that later. I'll save that for tomorrow. I'll do it. I'll add it to the tomorrow list. Yeah. And like like I used to be a big console advocate for that. So it was just like, well, at least like the consoles don't need upgraded. But like then I eventually realized, well, technically neither do PCs if you don't play newer games. Like once you got a PC strong enough to play emulators, you never needed to upgrade it. I just realized it's people chasing trends, but no, now the problem is consoles holding back PC, and it's just like, Jesus, let go of the consoles. It's like either bring the consoles up to be like a PC at this point. Like, I understand every major company is afraid of being the first one to give people access to the internet, like truly, because of what happened on the PSP and stuff. But yeah, pretty much. So long as I can play what I want to play, I'm fine. But like that's really my biggest fear with PC gaming. It's just like, will my computer hold up with the new games? And it's just like, since it's not a console, you do have to adapt it. You either have to buy a whole new one or you have to adapt the one you have. And it's just like, yikes. That's going to be the first game that really challenges me. I can play the original totally fine, which sucks because the new one's on an entirely new engine, so. I think I'm gonna just start reeling in at a certain point. I don't think I can cast any further in that direction. It'd be crazy if I could cast over there. Oh my gosh. That would be absurd. I wonder if any company will ever have the cojones to create like the ultimate system, like the actual Xbox One that plays Xbox games, Xbox 360 games. They're capable. The companies are obviously capable. They're all fucking multi-billion-dollar companies. Like, it's unbelievable that we are in like the fucking Stone Ages still. Like, still just making basic-ass, like, consoles. Honestly, consoles peaked with the very first PS3 that could play PS1, PS2, and PS3 games. Why they did not try to, like, fix all the problems with it and move from there is just stupid. That was, like, innovation. It's too bad, because if they'd have kept up with that, it would have forced Xbox and Nintendo to participate. I dropped off hard after those. But thankfully in college, I had roommates who owned both PS4 and Xbox One, so I didn't have to get them. Oh, there's the fucking 71-102. Okay, but I wasn't catching those big ones as often, so it does obviously increase your average. That's interesting. I don't know if it increases your total, but your average definitely does increase, that's for sure. Interesting. Anyway, so I never had to buy one. I didn't get into Monster Hunter until last year or 2 years ago. But it's definitely a game on my radar now. No, I was a huge PS2 and Game Boy kid growing up, and then I played the Game Boy all the way into the 3DS up until Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I literally remember the moment where it was just like, oh, well, what are they doing? And it was when I bred a Sharpedo to be shiny, and I jumped on it in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and the riding mount wasn't shiny. And it was just like, why on earth is my Sharpedo not purple? And I just remember thinking, like, you know what? Maybe I'm a little old for Pokemon. And that's literally when I stopped playing. Well, that and I got kicked from a game versus one of my favorite Pokemon streamers, and it just crushed me. Like, I disconnected on the Wi-Fi, and that was the last time I did online battling. It just broke my heart. I stopped playing PS2. I was thinking about this the other day. I can't remember exactly when. But, like, I remember the first games I played that weren't on the PS2, were, I think, Halo and something else on the Xbox. I can't remember. My cat. Stop! Why? The fact that you're eating outside my room tells me that you know it's bad. Cat's out there eating my fucking leftover napkin I wiped my mouth with. Fiend. I could hear her fucking feet hit the floor with such force. But I played Halo. I can't exactly remember. I was thinking about it the other day. There were some games that finally pulled me away from the PS2 specifically. And then all of a sudden, I remember distinctly when the Xbox 360 came out, it was over. I remember playing Halo 3, Call of Duty 4, and Borderlands, which are hilariously all first-person shooters, so you probably don't exactly relate to that. But I played all of those for like an entire year. Maybe 2? Halo was, I think it was Halo 2 was the one with the out of bounds where you could go on the like roofs throughout the map. That was like my absolute favorite one. But I think it was Halo 3 was the one like everybody was like super excited for on the Xbox 360. I can't exactly remember. But there were a few other games that came out on the Xbox. And then I remember Minecraft came out on the 360. And like I had Minecraft in beta on my laptop, but I didn't keep up with it because I lost my login. And I just remember being like, yeah, whatever. Like, it was cool. And then I remember it came out on the Xbox, and it was just like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And I remember it was an absolute blast to just like have a bunch of different worlds with all your friends on Xbox. And then I don't remember exactly what happened after that. But at some point, I got really into Oblivion on the 360, and then Skyrim came out. And like that completely absorbed me. And I remember at one point after the second DLC had come out, I had done like pretty much everything except for like the whole build your own house and like adopt kids. And I remember getting started on it, and it was just like, I'm done with this game. Like, I've done, I think, everything except for adopt children. It's just like, okay, I think I'm good. And like, almost on like cue, one of my friends was just like, well, you should check out this game. It's probably too hard, but you might like it. And it was Dragon's Dogma. And I remember going into it like, okay, like, what's so hard about it? And I took it like super seriously and never died for like the first few hours, and just remember thinking like, okay, like this is good. I like this. And I became obsessed with that game. And I still play it to this day. I don't play Skyrim. Actually, I played it like recently, within the last like 5 years, but it'd been a while. Nice! 65 and over 110. That's pretty solid. But I played Dragon's Dogma for a super long time, and then finally I was just like, I want something harder. I want something harder than this. And I mean, this was back when like GameStop was your best option. I went to a GameStop and was just like, what you guys got? And they were like, well, just play Dark Souls. And I was like, what the fuck is Dark Souls? And they were like, oh, here, just play this. And I remember playing it and just being like, okay, this is just ridiculous. Like, is this meant to be fun? And I like went back and asked the guy, like, okay, like, am I not getting something? And he's just like, just level up once every time you find a bonfire and you'll be okay. And like, I tried that and got a lot further. And like, looking back at it, I think I got stopped by the gargoyles. And like, I thought I was supposed to fight something, I can't remember, in the woods. I don't even remember what it was at this point, but I just remember like not being able to go back to the woods. The Dark Root Jungle, or Dark Root Woods, whatever it is. So like, I went back and was talking to the guy and was just like, okay, just like help me out a little more. And he explained to me how to shoot the tail off the Drake. And that was pretty much all I needed to like really get into the game. And then finally I made it to Orenstein and Smough. And I was just like, like, this isn't fucking possible. Like, there's a cheat. Is this one of those games where like one of the pillars breaks and when the ceiling collapses, like, only I survive? Is it like, am I not getting it? Like, do I need to make them break all the pillars? And then I went back one more time, and like, I could tell the guy was like sick of me at this point. And he basically like drew me a map of how to farm the Baldur's Side Sword and like what to distribute my stats as. And he was just like, they should die in like 10 hits if you do this. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I remember going back and being like, okay, like, I get it now. Like, I didn't know this game had farming loops and stuff. Like, okay, I get it. It's just, okay. It's a stupidly hard regular art. Okay, I get it now. And, like, everything started to click. I just, like, I thought the entry to the game was just, like, unobtainable. I was just like, what the fuck is this game? This is weird. But then, yeah, I just realized it's basically an RPG that doesn't explain anything. And it's like, oh, okay, like, I get it. They expect you to have the guidebook like back in the day, but like nobody has a guidebook anymore. So like you're not figuring any of this shit out on your own. But it's like, okay, I'll play your game. I'll use the modern guidebook of the internet. So I don't remember exactly what happened after that, but at some point I found some guy's video where he does like a suicide run in every direction of the map in the first 15 minutes, and he gets insane gear. And I just remember trying to memorize that video, and it forever changed how I played Dark Souls, and it became one of my favorite games of all time. And actually, it was like while I was playing Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 for the first time that I brought my PS2 back out, because a lot of my roommates in college were just like, well, what other RPGs do you have? And I was just like, well, honestly, on Xbox, I only have shooter games. And then, like, I brought out the PS2, and it was just like, oh, wow. It's like, I used to play pretty much only RPGs. And then I don't think I played really any shooters again until Fortnite. Oh, early Fortnite was so good. I have almost no bad memories of early Fortnite outside, like, the mechs and, like, a few randomly overpowered weapons. Oh, it was a weird amount of lag. I apologize. I don't know if that was on my side or... what can I put up there? Whatever, I don't care. Wait. Oh wait, no, that was dumb. There we go. Oh my gosh, and then yeah, it was like a renaissance in college. I got way back into, I remember Dirge of Cerberus, the Final Fantasy game for Vincent Valentine. I got way back into Dark Cloud 2. I played a ton of Final Fantasy 12. And then at some point Dark Souls 3 came out, and I came back to like modern RPGs. And then we played Bloodborne at some point as like a house. We all had one character. That we pretty much just took turns like grinding on, and then when it like came to bosses, we would just be like, oh shit, like this is not fun. And then somebody else would always just be like, well, I'll try. Because like it usually out of like the 4 or 5 of us, there'd be somebody who'd be like, oh shit, like I love the looks of this. And it's just like, well, here, take over, it's not fucking fun. And then they beat it first try, and it's just like, oh. Cute. But it made the game way more enjoyable to like get through all the bosses, to not have to learn the mechanics that way, but trying to remember some other good games that just picked up. Oh, Tales of Exalia. We put like 80 hours into that, and then Googled like what part of the story were we at, and we realized we were only halfway through the game of disc 1, and we were like, oh no way, are we 80 hours in? Halfway through disc 1. Like, nah. We had our fun. I did play a lot of the Jak and Daxter games, as well as the Ratchet and Clank games growing up. But as much as I love those games, I think they're not as much fun going back. I'd really like to learn some of the speedrun mechanics, because I think not like necessarily speedrunning the game for top times would be like necessarily the greatest, but like there's a lot of shitty parts of the game that I think knowing how to do them as fast as possible would be fun. Because there's parts I like taking my time through and like enjoying and like noticing like the little, not Easter eggs, but like touches, the nice touches in games back then. But there's also parts where it'd be like, oh shit, man, if I could learn how to do the fucking like strafe jump and be through this level in 2.5 minutes, that'd be sweet. But I'm not that good, so I don't normally have fun. I usually get pretty angry at some point because I can't get something done, and it's just like, oh Jesus, like I can spend like 5 hours trying to do this, or I could learn like a 2-minute speedrun strat over 20 hours, and it's like, oh. Or I could play something else. It's a quitter's mentality, but you gotta have something. Alright, let's rotate baits, because nothing's biting. Like, big. Nothing big is biting, I should say. Let's re-rotate the good baits that I had. The Menin and the Mimi. I caught 80 centimeter nonkies on these. That wasn't bad. Let's see if that's consistent. It is not. Oh, I did get back into Pokemon during the pandemic super hard. Because that was when, like, the eShop was shutting down, and I was like, oh shit, you're telling me I can get Pokemon Crystal for $10? Like, I have a 3DS. Hell yeah. Wow, of course it was 2 gummies. That was absolutely not worth my time. Let's try a Petite. And then, I have no problem saying this, but I spent every hour I could, pretty much, playing Genshin Impact when it came out. I fucking loved that game. Up until the moment I realized I was totally addicted. I loved that game. However, I was so addicted that, like, quitting it cold turkey was no problem, because it was just like, wow, I have 0 reason to be playing this game, and yet I feel like I have to every day. So, like, I just put it down cold turkey, because it was just like, this is not okay. The craziest part was, I wasn't even spending, like, an exorbitant amount of money. Like, in the grand scheme of things, I was just buying the low price package. But then, like, the 2-year anniversary rolled around, and I was just like, oh my god, why am I logging in to collect, like, food materials? Like, it's fun to post on Reddit, like, once a month when everybody's like, oh, yeah, look, I've got all of this saved up. And everybody's, like, trying to show off, be, like, the one person with slightly more fucking raw meat than the other guy. And it's just like, yikes, why are we doing this? And it's just like, oh my god, this is literally, like, I get the joke now. It's resinless behavior. Like, it's just bullshit you do while you have no resin waiting for the next day. And it's like, that's fucking addiction. Like, wow, I'm not proud of this. Because, like, and the worst part is, and this is why I could quit so easily, was I'd actually gotten so stupidly lucky that I had, like, at the time, the best equipment you could pretty much get. And it was just like, I think I could be doing 10,000 more damage per hit, but, like, the people doing that much damage spend thousands of dollars on this game. And it's like, I'm not playing this game that much. So I just stopped. And I'd like to go back and play one day, because they've added so much stuff. And I've already got, like, a shitload of characters. And, like, I have an entire team of 4 that are, like, perfect. They are almost perfect. Not nowadays perfect, but they were back then perfect. So, like, it'd be a ton of fun to go back and play. I've been thinking about it. It just makes me afraid to download all that shit onto my computer. Because, like, it is not... It's not suspicious. Since day one, everybody's known Genshin's been some bullshit spyware to some extent. They ask way too many questions. They want way too much data. I've got a limit on the amount of data I'm willing to let you collect, but... Oh my gosh, though. If you've never played, it's not the greatest game in the world, but, like, it's one of those games that if it hits, it hits. And all it really is just combos. You use 4 characters and an elemental... What is it? Elemental burst and something else. I can't even remember what it is. Strike? But you basically try to combo, like, elements with each other to get the most, like, exorbitant numbers, while at the same time setting up your next combo of attacks. And it's really fun. Like, again, if you find the characters you like, but at the same time, they're almost all locked behind payment, so the odds of you getting the characters you want is next to 0. It takes about a month to ensure yourself a character, but you have to grind, like, every day for the bullshit daily points, and it's just like, even then, I think you have a 50-50 chance. However, every 2 months, you're guaranteed, because if you lose the 50-50, you'll get them the next month, but they don't run the same character back to back, so you have to wait till your character comes back out. And it's like, oh my god, what? How I got addicted was I watched a big streamer that I liked and trusted play the game. And they had a bunch of fun, and I was like, it looks okay. And they were basically like, oh yeah, if you start now, you get 50 free wishes or something. Because it was like, again, the day the game came out. And I was like, you're not gonna get me. I'm not a gambler. I like farming for drops in games, not characters. So I watched this guy play for like hours. And every so often, he would just go back to the shop and drop a ton of money because people would donate it. And finally, because the guy plays a lot of Dark Souls, the viewers were just like, you gotta use this guy named Diluc. He uses a two-handed greatsword and it's fire and you'll love him. And like, back when the game came out, he was considered one of the best characters, pretty much hands down. Because you just had to spam. So anyways, people were just like, here's some money, you gotta get him. And he literally couldn't get the guy. Like, it was comical how much money he was spending and getting everybody but this guy. And it was just like, oh my gosh. So I was just like, okay, like if I get 50 tries, like, from what I understand, I should get at least somebody. So I played the game and I was just like, like, is this really just like a Breath of the Wild knockoff? Is this what this is? Like, I've never played Breath of the Wild. I've never played a Zelda game. Like, this is cool, but meh. And I went to go do the wishes or whatever, and I got the first, like, 5-star character of my character's, like, playthrough, and I was just like, who the fuck is this? I've never even seen this person. Like, he didn't even get this person. So I was like, well, whatever. And I, like, wished 1 or 2 more times and, like, got the character he was trying to get. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, you're kidding me. This is so funny. So, like, I kept doing the wishes or whatever, and I got, like, some other character, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I'm hooked. And, like, if I remember correctly, you can pay $5 and they'll give you a set amount of, like, wishes, or not wishes, but points to do wishes every day. And I essentially was just like, okay, so you save them all up for the end of the month, and for like $5 you get, like, I think it was 30 wishes or something like that, and if you play every day you get like another 20 wishes by the end of the month. So okay, so they let you get roughly 50 every month. I see it, okay. So, like, I jumped through the hoops, and every other month I would, like, with the pity system that they called it, I would get the event character, and it was just like, okay, like, this is pretty sweet. So I paid $5 for, like, the first 2 years, and then, like, in the second year, I was just like, oh, they've got me now. Like, I've been playing for 2 years, I've spent, like, what I feel is, like, a fair amount of money, but it's more than a normal game's cost, and it's just like, okay, y'all got me, I'm in it. So, like, at a certain point, I had almost every character but 2, and I didn't really want them. So it's just like, whatever. And then again, like I said, I pretty much had, like, the best equipment I could. It was gonna be, like, a 1 in, like, 1,000 on each piece of equipment to get a better one, and it's just like, I'm not playing every single day just to try to get a better equipment to do an extra 1,000 damage. It's like, it's not worth it. It's too much. But I will say, if you're just, like, getting into it, excuse me, Genshin Impact's probably one of the greatest free-to-play games of all time. I'm not even exaggerating. I wish they would sponsor me to pay me to say that, but, like, I can't even imagine how much content you get for free right now. Genuinely. Is the game kind of weird? Yeah. But, like, so is Dark Cloud 2. There's weird shit in this game if you look for it. But, whew, man. When I finally found those 4 characters that worked for me, I loved running around that world and fighting, like, new enemies and trying this and trying that. Like, oh, how do I work around? Okay, I can sub this character out to beat this new type of enemy. Okay, I actually like this character now. But, like, once I found my core 2 characters, oh, so good. That's fair. You know what's funny? Even within the Genshin Impact community, I am despised for, like, who and how I play. Welcome. I hope you are feeling at least somewhat rested. I was trying not to inundate you with my normal spewage. No, I don't know if you know anything about Genshin, but just, like, the characters I played, Diluc and Jingqi? I don't remember his name. People were so annoyed with how overpowered they were for a while. It's kind of mellowed out now, but for, like, a little window of time, they were so broken. And then there was, like, 2 more characters that came out. Guan Yu, I think? Or am I thinking Dynasty Warriors? No, that's Guan Yu. Yeah, I think it's Guan Yu. And Hu Tao came out. And I put them on my team, and, like, I got some ridiculous legendary weapons during a certain banner. And I pretty much had all the best stuff. And, like, anytime I would join a conversation, people would just be like, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't have that. Like, whale detected. And then I'd say how much I'd spent, and people would be like, oh, bullshit. Like, whatever. And it's like, well, okay. I wish I still had the posts up, because the date would correlate and blow people's minds. But I don't. It would blow people's minds if I had, like, the posts that still correlated to them, though. I was one of the OG big hitters. But I have not played in a long time. It's... Again, it's one of those games that, like, if you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. But, like, if you can get past some of the cheese... Again, every game's got its own cheese. But if you can get past, like, the Genshin cheese, it's a free game. It's massive. It's crazy. But, I mean, it is predatory as shit. Although, I will say, if you pay $5, you get away with enough. Like, more than enough. However, again, that'll quickly get you. So, it's like every game. But, like, dear God, it's no fucking Diablo 4. But the last time I played, they were doing, like, costumes and stuff for each character. And I remember thinking, like, holy shit, like, that's... Wow, that's Fortnite expensive for a fucking costume in this game? Like, you guys let me down. But, again, you don't have to buy any of it. But at the same time, you don't have to ever unlock the character you want because bullshit luck. And, again, if you miss the character you want, and it's like, okay, I'll get him next time because I'm guaranteed. And then you have to wait 6 months for them to re-release your character. And it's like, oh, well, I don't play anymore. Damn, no bites? I wasn't, like, actually competitive for score, but there was a couple, like, weird scenes where it's just, like... It's, like, it's so weird to even talk about now. But, like, again, it was, like, when, like, we were waiting daily for updates. There would be people who would post, like, oh, look how many of this recipe I've made because of all the crabs I've collected. And it's like, wow, dude, how many crabs have you collected a day? And it's like, 28. Where are you getting the last 6 crabs? Along this stretch of beach on the blah, blah, blah coast. And it's like, there's crabs there! And then, like, 4 months later, all of a sudden, this one guy would have 15 more recipes cooked than everybody else because he had the crabs earlier. And there was, like, 3 recipes that I had way more of than everybody else. And people were always just like, why? Why do you have so many of those? And it was just like, well, you see, and then just like I would explain how I grinded a certain area, and people were just like, oh my god, why are you over there? And it's just like, I just explored one day. Nice. Yeah, no, see, the people who, like, did stuff and, like, and maybe did, no judgment, I'm jealous, honestly jealous, not judging in a bad way, I am judging in a jealous way. But, like, the people who did that shit for Genshin Impact were spending tens of thousands of dollars, like, every update on the new character. And it was just like, yeah, I can't compete with y'all. It's like, I'd like to. At one point, like, I almost could compete with them because I got so... That's, to explain it, that's how lucky I got with my drops, was that I was able to compete with the best players, but, like, I couldn't actually score with them because all you had to do was buy a better weapon than me, and you had a better score. You couldn't. Because I don't know about Honkai, but in Genshin Impact, they have legendary weapons, and you can refine them 5 times by literally getting another legendary weapon and putting it onto itself, making it stronger. And I think the pity for getting one or the other of the 2 monthly legendaries was like 75. So like it was 90. Soft pity was 75. So you basically had to spend $90 to get either or legendary. And then you had to do that 5 times. And if you got lucky, you got the legendary you wanted 5 times. But if you didn't, you had to do it 5 more times to get the legendary you wanted. And it was just like, I'm not doing that for like an extra 1,000 fucking damage. Like, I actually got, like, there was one banner where they offered the 2 best weapons in the game, and I had characters that could use them. So, like, I actually rolled my monthly allotment on it, and I got the weapons I needed, like, both of them. And, like, I was just blown away. And I remember thinking, like, yeah, okay, I think I've got a gambling problem. And then after, like, the 2-year anniversary, or during the 2-year anniversary or something like that, there was a character I really wanted, and I just couldn't get him to save my life. And I remember going to Target to buy a fucking card and thinking, like, oh my god, I look like a fucking crackhead who likes anime girls. Like, what the fuck am I? But, like, looking back at it, it was the middle of the pandemic, so, like, I was surviving. I was fucking surviving mentally. And it was my waifu, so get the fuck out. I needed her. When I finally unlocked her, though, I felt so dirty that I literally just stopped playing the game. And then, like, struggled for, like, a week mentally just to be like, okay, just because you unlocked the character doesn't mean you have to go back. Like, that is the addiction. That is the fucking sunken cost fallacy. You can go back anytime and the character will be there. And, like, I think I played a couple times during, like, other anniversaries, but it just always felt like it was trying to grab me. However, recently, after I saw how much shit they added to the map, it was like, oh, fuck, like, I don't even know what's going on in the game anymore. And then, like, I saw a couple memes about people who were like, oh, I saw the new map and I came back, and then it shows, like, memes of, like, new players, or not new players, old players coming back. And it's just like, it was the meme from Pulp Fiction when John Travolta's just like looking around like, what the fuck? It's just like, oh no, that would be me. Like, I'd be so overwhelmed. But I've thought about it. I think that'd be one of those games I'd play off stream because I'm not sure if anybody would care about watching me play Genshin Impact. But I think it would be fun to pick it up for at least a day or two. God, again, if you could find the right combos with the right characters that you enjoyed, it was just pure dopamine. Let's stick with you, Matakara. I watched, again, I know I've talked about this guy enough, Josh Strife Hayes play Warframe, and it looked pretty cool. Warframe and Guild Wars 2 are 2 games that I think about, like, I wish I'd have gotten into those. Guild Wars 2 only because of regret, because it's just like, wow, I picked the wrong fucking game, I guess. I remember buying Guild Wars 2 from Best Buy because they shut down Dungeon Runners, and I remember playing it for like a few hours and just thinking like, I want my Dungeon Runners back. And, like, I should have stuck with it. But I was sad, man. I remember, like, hearing from somebody that I talked to that they had shut it down. And I just remember being like, what? Like, I haven't played a dungeon. What do you mean shut it down? And they were just like, you can't play it, you can't access it, it's gone. And I just remember being like, what do you mean? Like, how do they just shut down a game? Oh, shit, they shut it down. It's gone. I think that's like the first and only game. Well, no, I guess the Nintendo eShop shutting down killed a lot of Pokemon games. Okay, nothing's biting, so I'm kind of annoyed. Should we try a potato? Try a Mimi. That gets both, right? That's crazy. You got first, though, on a boss? Or did you, like... You got... Did you get the first? Is that your thing? Are you a firster? Do you hunt for firsts? That's pretty impressive. No wonder you're my fishing rival. Fucker. I don't want you. I wish Blizzard Entertainment didn't go to shit so I could play WoW. I used to love the shit out of WoW, but like I refuse to play their games and give them money. Oh, 16 gummy? That's tiny. Like, I have no idea what's going on at WoW Entertainment, but like, holy shit. Or not WoW Entertainment, Blizzard Entertainment. I used to play World of Warcraft. I used to love playing Hearthstone. I always wanted to play Diablo and stuff, but like, I play so many games. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices. But like, I had family and friends that played Diablo, StarCraft, what's the other one? Just Warcraft. But like, I mean, a good portion of my friends were pretty much made from World of Warcraft. I remember I got a job because a friend of mine, who I'd met through gaming, not World of Warcraft, but they got a job because they were one of the only people during the interview who recognized the manager's ringtone as a Murloc. And they were pretty much hired on the spot. And then they got me a job the next year. And we all played World of Warcraft together. It might have been one of the greatest situations ever in my life. Because I remember getting, like, hired. And there was, like, such a, like, bro, like, oh, yeah, we're a family culture there. And, like, I remember starting, and, like, all these people, like, not wanting to haze the newbies, but basically, again, there's, like, a culture of, like, you either survive or you die. And, like, as soon as I got there, I was just like, oh, yeah, like, how's it going? Like, oh, yeah, can you grab me this? Can you do this? Can you go, oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And, like, people would stare at me like, who the fuck are you? And then all of a sudden the manager would walk in and be like, all right, we're going to grab drinks. Come on, hop in. And I'd like hop in the car and they'd just stare at me like, wait, what the fuck? And then like I remember on the second day, people were like, so how do you know the manager? And I was like, oh, I was his tank all last summer in World of Warcraft. And people were like, oh, what the fuck? You goddamn nerd. And it's just like, yeah, I'm his tank. And, like, I just disregarded all of the fucking culture because I didn't give a shit because it was just like, yeah, I'm here to get paid so I can afford my subscription. Please do not talk to me while I consume my daily Monster Assault and pistachios. Thank you. I was probably the worst fucking tank in the world, and they were such sweethearts for never saying anything. mean, I played a Blood Elf Warrior. Because I thought it looked cool. Yeah, nice. No, I literally remember at one point, like, we started, like, because it was so much fun. Like, my roommate played a paladin that was dual spec, so he could tank in case I died, because that happened. But he also just played DPS. And then our manager played a druid healer. And, like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun, because every so often I would die. And then just, like, a message in chat would appear, and it's like, it's okay, follow the paladin. And, like, oh my god, I was such a mess. But, like, people would sometimes just be like, Blood Elf Warrior, Blood Elf Tank, question mark, question mark, question mark, Blood Elf, question mark, question mark, question mark. It's just like, oh my god. I played Hunter for a while when I was in high school. But I had a friend, I don't even remember the fucking add-on, but I can remember the fucking parrot that, like, went along with it. But I remember, like, one time he sent me this DM and was just like, dude, you're not doing enough DPS. Like, these people are gonna kick us. And I just remember thinking, like, who cares? And, like, we finished and nobody kicked us or, like, messaged us or anything. And it was just like, dude, nobody gives a shit. But, like, he gave a shit. Alright, we're getting close. Should I level up or wait? We're doing grip, so we're literally gonna go 1 to 99. Do I wait? I'm gonna wait until I see some answers. Hold? Any holds? Any holds in the chat? I'm kidding. I'm kidding, y'all. Wait, maybe? That's one wait. That's two waits if you include me. Does anybody include me? It's just me. And you. Okay, I checked. According to Twitch, it's just you and me. Okay, okay, come on, come on, come on. Today. Let's not do Gobbler, though. Damn, I'm shocked Don left. Oh, Don Doke. Am I just getting a bad reading? They're usually at least lurking. No? Oh. Let's see, I played a Tauren something. I can't even remember. I just remember I played Tauren in original classic WoW. And then in Burning, I played Blood Elf pretty much everything. And then eventually decided on Warrior because I liked, like, pretty much all the armor sets the most. And then eventually I switched to Hunter, but that's when my friend became an asshole and, like, I stopped playing. Then I played a bunch of Cataclysm by myself with nobody. And I played a hunter like completely solo, and that was probably the most fun I've ever had in WoW, because it was just me, and I was having so much fun by myself. And then again, I picked it up in college, playing with a bunch of friends, which again was fun, until we got to like the high tier stuff, and it was just like, okay, I either need to play better or learn the game to such a high extent that it covers up me not playing better, and I just kind of gave up. But that I played from shit, I can't even remember, all the way up to fucking, was it Burning Legion? I got to 110 or whatever it was, but it was just like, yeah, I prefer playing as my Death Knight, and it was just like, oh my god, wait, no, I'm gonna have to level up my Death Knight. When I picked the game back up, though, and I played, like, seriously, I played, and again, Blood Elf, but Blood Elf Death Knight, and that was so much fun. Demon Hunter was really cool, but, like, Death Knight was probably my favorite class of all time. I don't exactly remember what I played, but it was, like, Death and Decay Death Knight or something, because I was a tank. So, like, I just literally casted AoE and, what are they called? Fucking attraction spells or whatever they're called. Taunts. But I had, like, literally just, the class had 3 taunts, and I would just rotate them, basically. And it was just, like, it was so easy. But again, once Burning Legion came out, all of us were like, yeah, let's check it out, let's try it, and after we all got to 110, it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna switch back to my Death Knight, and it was just like, oh, fuck, I'm gonna have to level up while, like, you guys are already, and it's like, oh. And that was it. Like, the subscription ran dry, and, like, I remember them being like, we'll pay for it, and it's like, no. Please. Please do not make me feel obligated to play this game. And then, like, a couple months later, I remember, like, talking to the manager and just being like, are you still playing? And he was like, well, actually, I hop on to manage my gold farms. You could actually send people out on quests, and if they collect enough gold while out on the quest, you could actually pay for your subscription with the in-game gold. And I just remember thinking, like, oh, dude, fuck that. Like, stop. Please, come on, man. But he loved it. Yeah. They didn't really give a shit about your ults and stuff like that. And, like, yeah, switching servers and stuff like that was just fucking stupid expensive. It was literally just there to milk the whales trying to get away from, like, trolls so they could feel more powerful. And, like, if they ever came up against somebody who could beat them, they could just hop. But, like, the average Joe wasn't gonna fucking hop for 50 bucks. I actually played a shitload of free trial. I loved making new characters and just getting to level 20 and being like, yeah, that was a fun run. And then I'd put the game down. And it was just, it was enough. It was just enough. Wow, we saw this fish a billion times. I'm glad we're seeing it again. So, okay. It doesn't get rid of certain fish. It just, it literally increases your range. You see other fish more often. Interesting, because we saw that fish 4 fucking times before I increased one of my stats. I had at most, I think, 4 that I would, like, play on with, like, different, like, rotations. Like, if my manager wasn't on and my roommate was, we played these characters. If my roommate wasn't on and my manager was, we played these characters. If I played by myself, I played this character. So, like, I think at most I had 4 to fill all those gaps. I think my all-time favorite, if I'm remembering this correctly, I might be, correct me if I'm wrong, please do. My favorite towards the end was, oh, what are they even called? Is it just werewolf? But the werewolf hunter was becoming my favorite. I'd always been a horde player, but, like, it was the first time that I felt like, okay, this might be my introduction to Alliance. I'd always been horde. Worgen, yeah. I played Worgen when they first came out, and I had the infamous glitch happen to me where, like, your horse jumps over the fence and you just bug out completely and you can't complete anything. If I'm, again, remembering correctly, it's like decades ago at this point. No. 2 decades? 1 decade. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you at all on that. But I did play Horde more than anything. I just loved everything about the Blood Elves. Like, everything about the starting area, missions, and traversal of the Blood Elves was just phenomenal for me. I loved it. And then, like, by the time I got to Orgrimmar, like, I was ready to explore the map at my leisure. And, like, I don't know, after enough characters, it just became, like, my go-to for playing through the game. But, like, again, I played one Worgen after all that nonsense had happened. And I was just like, oh, man, this is the greatest fucking character of all time. Like, how have I not been playing this? But I do remember that was, like, the last new character I made. Because I can't even remember the name of him. Anslem? I remember it was super close to the character from Kingdom Hearts, but it was the name of the guy who wrote the lyrics to Who Let the Dogs Out. Ugh. I so badly want to play WoW, but I refuse to give those motherfuckers even another play marker on their monthly indicator. And that's the worst part, is like the first 20 levels are literally my favorite part of like gaming. Like getting that new character, getting like a new like, oh, I got the rare drop! Yes! Getting to that point where it's like, okay, we don't have to fight the low level enemies, but if they get close, we can one-hit them. But, ugh, especially because, again, it's just, once you get used to it, like, you start learning what quests you can skip and, like, oh, hello, this is heavier than normal. This might be 120, this might even be 130. We'll see. But I'd go to Orgrimmar, and then, I don't even exactly remember the direction, but I'd run across, like, the wetland. That was, what? No. That wasn't right. I've been bamboozled. Whatever. I'd run across, like, this big river. It's something, I can't even remember what it's called. I want to say something wetlands. But I'd run past all these crocodiles, kill them if they got too close. But the goal was to get across the river to these raptors, where there was, like, a couple quests that were offered by, like, this troll guy. But my main target was this rare game raptor that would spawn with 2 bodyguards. And I would almost always tame this blue raptor as my pet. And just, I'd grind and have some fun. And then, again, usually I'd hit the level 20 cap and I'd just try to do something crazy. Eventually, my goal was try to, like, get good enough at the game that I could solo Wailing Caverns by myself. But I never did that. I tried, but I never did. I'm not even sure if that's 20 on a level 20 locked character. I always wanted to get into private servers, but that's a gray area. I think private servers are one of those things that's really missed out on by big, like, multi-billion-dollar companies. Like, genuinely just rent out like a server to people and let them play on it, and you would have their money. Like, it's just crazy. If WoW was just like, hey, blah 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 per month, you can have whatever patch you want of World of Warcraft, just to you. And it's just like, yes please. Like, there's a patch for everybody. I don't even know what patch I would play on. That's a great question. There's stuff I liked pre and post Cataclysm. I really wanted to play Classic and all that stuff, but I just couldn't. The fucking company's getting creepy. That's legit. I'm one of those people that once I find something I like, I rarely stray from it. But I will say that I played Death Knight last, even though Hunter was by far my favorite class. You know, I take that back. As soon as you said that, actually, during Mist of Pandaria, I think I did play a Hunter again. No, Mist of Pandaria would have been back in high school, I think, so I probably was still playing Hunter. I take that back. Oh my gosh. I remember the first time I learned what a private server was, though. I had a friend who, like, exclusively played on private servers, and it was, like, always so awkward, because, like, that was one of those things back then where, like, I mean, friendships could end over it, where one person's just like, yeah, you come play with us, and come play with us. It's just like, I refuse to pay. And it's just like, okay, guys, shut the fuck up. I was tech illiterate, so I just paid the $15 rather than learn how to get a fucking computer virus off my computer. Anyways, I remember one of them, like, sent me a screenshot one time and was just like, yeah, this is why you play on a private server. And they had started a brand new character. They were, like, level 3 or something like that. And all of their bag slots were filled. And it was just like, what the fuck? And they're like, bag slot drop is turned up to max. If an enemy can drop a bag, they drop it. And I just remember thinking, like, okay. That's pretty neat. But if I remember correctly, there was like a bunch of weird like bugs about the like private server they played on. Like none of the world chests worked. So if there was a quest that involved a chest, you just couldn't do it. So you had to pick a race based on how many like quests you didn't want to do. I don't know exactly how. No, I wouldn't say that's a private server because you are still playing. Well, it is. I mean, technically, you are still playing on somebody's like server. I don't know. Actually, you know what? That's a great question. I don't know really how it works. If they don't do that, if they do make another open world game and they don't do it that way, they've completely blundered in my eyes. After seeing the seamless co-op mod, it's just like, wow, that's how it should have been. It's like, I normally don't like playing these games with other people because that trivializes the game so much. If you have a real, it's why the Mimic tier is so broken. If you have like a legitimate player distract the boss, it's just a joke. But like, I don't know, like Elden Ring's one of those games that's big enough that all 168 bosses is enough entertainment for you and your friends to steamroll them. Like, it doesn't matter if you guys are gods within the first 10 minutes just because you can cheese the bosses. There's enough stuff for you to do. But, like, it is a bummer that, like, you have to re-invite your friends every 2 minutes. The twin gargoyles are pretty intense. I did my whole first playthrough as a mage using the twin skeletons, or the skeleton barbarians, or whatever they're called. They were so much fun. But at a certain point, like, I realized with my 8 health, all I was doing was essentially waiting for the skeletons to survive the whole fight while I stayed far enough away to not get hit once. And it was just like, this is neat and all, but it's like, I feel like I'm just rolling the dice here at this point. Because, like, I know I can kill the boss in, like, 10 hits with how powerful I am. But it's just like getting the skeletons to survive for 10 hits is all I need, and I win. And it's just like, this is cheesy. But that was about the time I learned about the 40 Vigor, and it was just like, well, shit, if I do 40 Vigor, I can just tank the hits. So it's like, shit, what do I do? And the answer was, I can't remember how much health I went with, but I went with a certain amount of health that I could take one hit, but like, if anything sneezed on me, I died. So I could get off a heal, which also let me go back to full with one heal. So I could use like the Lloyd's Talisman or whatever it was called. Was it Lloyd's in Dark Souls 3 or was it Elden Ring? I can't remember, but I'd heal back up to full and I'd do a bunch of bonus damage, and it was enough. Dark Souls 3. I can't remember what it was in Elden Ring then. God, I remember in Dark Souls 3, like, cranking all my points into faith and intelligence and just smacking stuff with, like, Chaos Fire Orb. And it's just like, you'd have, like, the Fire Clutch Ring, the Pyromancy Bangle or whatever it was called, the fucking Sage's Talisman that increased your dexterity to max or whatever, and then, yeah, the Lloyd's Talisman. And you just run through the whole map, just chucking those Chaos Fire Orbs at everybody. Again, Dark Souls 3, I think, was almost perfect. The only problem is Elden Ring is just so much more fluid that it makes it feel aged. But it's not. It's a great game. It's just they hadn't hit their stride yet. Again, it would be so, like, Kingdom Hearts did it. When Kingdom Hearts remade Kingdom Hearts 1, or remastered it or whatever, remake, whatever you want to call it, 1.5, they added all the special abilities from Kingdom Hearts 2. Brilliant. If they did that to Dark Souls 3 one time, it would be insane. I just want to make sure I'm not wasting points. If I remember correctly, one of my biggest complaints about Dark Souls 3, though, was that there was no, like, better pyromancy weapon. If I remember correctly, the glove was the best weapon and what you started with. And then even in the final DLC, the, like, pyromancy glove that they added was a sweet-ass sword. But, like, the scaling was worse. And it's just like, okay, it's the last DLC ever, just go out. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh my gosh. That... When Dark Souls 3 came out, we grinded the, Guru, I think is what they're called. The Guru that are just outside one of the bonfires. There's 3 of them that spawn, like, just outside a bonfire in the swamp. And, like, every one of my roommates farmed all of, like, the blood-stained grass or whatever they are from those Guru until they had the great sword, or not great sword, great shield. And it was just like, oh my gosh. Like, the first one of my roommates got it, and I just remember being like, oh, I gotta get that thing. That looks sweet. And then, like, we both beat the game because the great shield was so good that everybody else in the house was just like, shit, like, it beats the game for you? Like, I'm getting it. And then, like, the fucking Gru massacre just started. I think the only one I didn't farm was the Concord of the Adepts. If I'm remembering correctly. I think I was trying to collect that one by playing through the game 30 times. Maybe... I can't quite remember. I just remember thinking, like, okay, if by the time, like, I collect all the, whatever they were, the soul of the grand champion or whatever, the soul of a great hero, the best soul in the game, it was like, if I collect all 3 of those and the whatever, I'll be able to get to level 500. And then I remember at some point, like, just giving up, because it was just like, I'm just doing this to be annoying. Like, there's no reason to do this. And I remember spending all my stuff and getting to, like, level 350, and I was just like, it's like, this feels the same! But it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. I need to play Dark Souls 2 again. I personally didn't like that game without anybody telling me how to feel. But it's simply because I didn't like the way the game felt. However, as time has gone on, I realized that it might not be the Dark Souls 2 that I wanted, but it's still a really good game. And that's my problem. Is I wanted a 1-to-1. I wanted Dark Souls 2 to feel like Dark Souls like 1, just better. And it obviously wasn't that. But again, looking back at it, it's a fine game and I should have stuck it out. Although I do shake my fist and I hate Dark Souls 2 for the fact that it has weapons that are hidden behind Time Gate. So, like, you can't ever get those weapons again unless you mod. Surprisingly, yeah. I remember watching somebody, it was like, it wasn't Bati, but it was like one of those big streamers who was just like, y'all need to realize that Elden Ring is actually more like Dark Souls 2, and I was just sitting there like, oh shit, yeah. Great point, Twin Blades, yes. I actually remember thinking specifically about playing with Twin Blades if I ever went back to Dark Souls 2. Because I remember there's one in like the weird castle-y area, if I remember correctly. Like at the almost the start of the game, you can get a Twin Blade. Actually, I think that's what speedrunners do. That's a good one. We're talking Elden Ring? If we're talking Elden Ring, I'm generic as hell, and the Godskin Peeler is my just ugh. Although, I mean, that's a great sidearm if I'm rocking both. Oh my gosh. I'm just so glad that I got to do an unadulterated playthrough of both the Rivers of Blood unpatched and dual-wield katana, or not dual-wield katanas, dual-wield Godskin Peelers. Oh, yeah, shoot, I forgot you did say you made that. Oh my god. Oh, wait, no, on a Godskin Apostle, you could use the two-handed greatsword, right? Or, technically, that's a different Godskin. But it is the same looking Godskin. That's Elden Ring for you. That is one of the abilities people were saying is still really good because they're just like, well, you might as well not two-wield, so use this. And it was like, oh, that is cool. I did miss out on the Sword of Night and Flame. I did not use the unpatched version of that. I was too busy having fun with getting bleed. Oh my gosh. Unpatched Rivers of Blood and dual-wield Twin Blades was just absurd. You've never fought the Fire Giant? That's funny. He's a miserable fight sometimes. Honestly, he was one of those fights that, like, I got lucky one time, and I just remember thinking, like, oh, how did I die 50 times? And it was just like, okay, because I got incredibly lucky that time, and he didn't focus on me at all for some reason. Nice. Good stuff, though. What bow are you using? Last time I played, I specifically farmed the, shit, it's the little red one. It's the red short bow. You get it from the perfumers. Oh, nice. Yeah, black bow, that makes sense. It's like the red fluted bow or some shit. But I farmed it from the perfumers and, oh, which coast is it? I can't even remember the name of the coast. Holy shit, it's been so long since I played Elden Ring. That sounds right, yeah. I made a super long tutorial on how to get the magma blades by only beating 2 bosses in like preparation. But I never edited it because I got tired once I recorded the whole thing. But essentially, I showed you how to get all of the consumable runes across the map without beating any bosses. And then I used the consumable runes to get like 1,000,000 something total. And then you'd level up, and like depending on what you were most comfortable with, you'd beat the twin Cleanrot Knights in the abandoned cave for the golden scarab, so that every enemy you beat from that point on, because again, everything you collected was just a consumable rune, everything you beat from that point on is boosted. And then you would get kidnapped and taken to the Volcano Manor, and we would use sleep pots to put the Godskin Noble to sleep, and we would farm the magma blades. It's like 110 or something like that. Well, depending on, well, if Grey Roll's your only kill, it's probably like 80. It is honestly pretty high. I was doing runs where I would kill the twin Cleanrot Knights as fast as possible, and then I would go kill Grey Roll. Because I was just like, okay, what is like my favorite character to start this game as? And eventually I determined it was Samurai. And then I would go farm Grave Scythes, and then I would use the Grave Scythe and kill the Cleanrot Knights. And sometimes if I was lucky, I would get a couple bonus runes here or there, and I'd be able to afford to get all the stats I wanted, plus use the Halo Scythe. Or is it the Halo Scythe? No, not the Halo Scythe. That's the one you have to farm. The Winged Scythe. And I would just crush things. And the Grave Scythe and the Winged Scythe look so cool to use. So cool. I mean, it's literally an angel and a devil scythe. But again, they patched it, so using 2 scythes is worse than 1. And it's just like, this fucking sucks. Like, you guys, why? Why? Oh, it just didn't make any sense. Yeah, again, it's just though at the end, like they started to learn how to separate the stuff, and I don't know if it's because they were learning coding-wise or if they were learning developer-wise. So hopefully when the DLC comes out, they revert a bunch of stuff and they're just like, hey, Bleed doesn't suck in PvE. It doesn't, it's not that it sucks anymore. It's just that, like, they literally just gutted the dual wield. It's like, why? It's like, I understand, like, again, it was too good in PvE. Or not PvE, PvP. But in PvP, it's like, if you're using 2 bleed weapons, you very clearly want to destroy the boss instantaneously. So it's like, why not let them? Again, if they couldn't control the separation, I'd understand it. And maybe that's what it was. But, like, I think in their last few patches, they've specifically done separate PvE and PvP patches. So, like, hopefully when the DLC comes out, they revert a bunch of stuff, because, like, man, if somebody wants to spam the bosses to death with rivers of blood, just let them. But, like, again, I understand in PvP, that's really fucking annoying. Yeah, holy damage is not great. The Winged Scythe was about as holy damage oriented as I played. Yeah. And you can get that super early too. Wait, is that the one you get from the or is that like a different Erd Tree bow? Is that the one you get from the shooting the rolling knight guy? I can't even remember what his name is. Oh, it's the one in the capital. What's the one at the very start of the game in that, like, tomb that you have to use the, stone imp key to get in immediately? But, like, if you shoot the guy with the falling pots, Erd Tree Great Bow. I was actually, my last playthrough, thinking to myself, like, if I don't do dual-wield magma blades, I think I'm gonna do the, is it the Great Spear of Parthsuthanax, or no, who is it? I can't even remember what his name is. But it's like the dragon spear that you can just kill things with lightning bolts, and it's like, that looks pretty great. Yeah, Grand Seax or something. Grand Seax. I'm not gonna ever pronounce that correctly. But it was just like, ugh, do I want to beat the Draconic Tree Sentinel to unlock the capital to get the spear? And it's like, I don't think so. So I got really good at farming, or not farming, but at getting really good at getting to the Godskin Noble. And then finally I got a playthrough recorded where I liked how I showed everything off. And then I got the magma blades within like 2 hours. And I was gonna edit it all down, but I just never did. I wish I had done more with... I never did the wrong warp. I wish I'd have done more with stuff like that. At that point in the game, I'd be fine with killing some stuff. I actually... I got really good at killing things with the poisonous cloud spell or whatever, where you just sneak up behind enemies and cast poison and let them slowly die. Because I was like, if I'm making a tutorial, I'm going to make a tutorial that anybody can do. Because, like, that's how I got into Dark Souls, was watching a video where somebody was just like, yeah, you don't even have to beat anybody, you just run. And it was like, shit, I can do that. And, like, it made me feel like I was learning Dark Souls. Yeah. Like, who, it's Commander Neil? The one you have to beat for the, Broken Needle? I just remember being like, what do you mean you can kill him with poison? No, you can't. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, there's a ton of videos of it. Oh, God, it's unbelievably easy. Yeah, he was just one of those bosses that, like, you'd finish all of his, like, clones off, and then you'd start focusing on him. And it was just one of those fights where, like, it was literally a test to see if you would hyper-focus, because you could only get a few hits in, and then you had to kill those fucking phantoms. See, what's crazy is, like, I was so overpowered in almost every playthrough where I originally fought him that I thought he was a joke. And then I remember seeing all these memes and stuff and being like, what the fuck are people talking about? And, like, I actually just did a playthrough and got to him, and he crushed me. And I remember thinking, like, what? And then it was just like, oh, wait, I'm like normally level 200 by the time I can get to this point in the game. Yeah, when you said the O part, I knew which one you meant. I didn't even notice, but when you said O, I knew there was a difference. Actually, speaking of him, his armored knight, the banished armored knight or whatever it's called, that one guy in his fort I was trying to get that armor set towards the end of my Elden Ring days. Oh, that's right. I never finished farming for the tutorial video. I still think I had like 1 or 2 pieces of armor to collect for my character to be done, and I just never got them, and I gave up. I totally remember that. I was trying to get the festival hood from the windmill people, and it just never dropped. I forgot all about that. Yeah. Watching the videos of him teleport behind people are so funny, and it like does the like we'll be right back, the it's just like, oh my god. No, I had so much fun, like, my first real... Like, once the meteorite staff was, like, common knowledge and I had that, I had so much fun just, like, exploring the map, riding on Torrent, and just shooting fucking magic missile at everything. It was just a great fucking time. They're always so good. I think there was only like 2 bosses in the whole game though that like actually made me so angry that I put the controller down and just like walked away from the game just like, yep, they fucked this game up. And it was the magma worm and the falling star beasts that are in the mines in Caelid, and I just remember thinking like, you guys literally said you wouldn't ever do this again after the Bed of Chaos, and like, here they are. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Oh, did they nerf them? Oh, thank God. They were awful. I actually remember, like, putting the game down for both of them. Yeah, no. Oh my God, that's enough. Oh my God, that is enough. I just remember how awful those fights were. I remember on one, I was trying to make a tutorial playthrough while I was trying to like do all the stuff. I had just beaten the abandoned cave and gotten the golden scarab, and I was on great time. Like, it was probably one of my fastest new characters that I had ever made, and I was like, oh my God, like my hands are shaking. Like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. And I remember getting the, what was it? I can't even remember what it was called. It was my most watched Elden Ring playthrough on Twitch. But it was like... I can't remember. Like, my katanas are smarter than me or something. But I was playing with the meteoric, whatever katana. And I was getting Moonveil. And I remember I had just gotten the ore katana and was heading down into the mines and got to the magma worm and just like, I don't know. I got him down to like 2 hits away from death and was just like, okay, here we go. Popping a golden foul foot, and he just annihilated me. And I was like, okay, I got greedy. And then for like 3 days, I just struggled to even ever get, like, halfway down his health, or get his health halfway down again. And I just remember being like, okay, well, I think I've thrown the worst tantrum I've ever done while streaming, and just, like, stopped playing Elden Ring altogether. And then, like, a month later, I'd come back and just be like, you know what? We're gonna do a different weapon. But, like, the worst part, it was just like, oh my god, like, I've done, like, this whole, like, I'm on part 3 now, because, like, I went around the whole map and collected all the runes and stuff, and collected all the upgrade materials, and it was like, okay, the only thing left before we go around the whole map and fight all the bosses is get Moonveil. And just for 3 days, the magma worm whooped my ass, and it was just awful. But that's right, if I remember correctly, on my current playthrough, I had unlocked the magma blades, and I was farming the last piece of my outfit, the fucking little flower head cap. Because I was wearing... Yeah, I'd farmed the Black Flame Monk greaves and gauntlets. I had the Raptor chest piece for bonus jump damage, and then I was gonna get the flower crown or whatever it's called. It's all coming back to me, and I just couldn't get the crown to drop. I remember now, because I was just like, okay, I'm gonna farm 100-something golden fowl or silver fowl feet, golden fowl feet, silver fowl feet. No, it's gold. I think it's gold. Is gold the item drop? I can't remember. Anyways, I'd farm the item drop one. I actually can't remember now. No, I'd have to farm silver for item drop. The golden scarab was runes. Yeah. Because that's the twins dropped the golden rune, or the golden scarab, and that's why I fought them first, was because they gave me a... Yeah, okay, I'm remembering now. Oh my gosh. To get the 100 golden fowl feet, I had, like, the craziest bird farming loop. It sounds weird to even say that, but I did. I killed so many birds. But I found this spot where you could kill, like, 20 birds and then hit a bonfire and, like... right? Oh my gosh, it was like... oh my gosh, I had the setup. So, like... Oh, the Weeping Peninsula, that's what it's called. I would start at the top of the hill of the Weeping Peninsula at, like, the Church of Pilgrimage or whatever. And, like, depending on the playthrough I was doing, I'd sometimes farm the Bandit Curve Sword there for, like, 2% drops or whatever it is. And then I would ride down the hill shooting the sheep for thin beast bones. And then I would jump down into this pit where there was 2 perfumers, and I would farm the red branch bow or whatever it's called. And then I would jump down, and there was like 20 poffins or whatever the birds are called, and I'd kill them and then run up to like the traveling merchant and rest at his bonfire, kill the poffins, kill the perfumers, and then run up the hill killing the sheep. And I did that until I had like 100 of the foul feet or whatever, and then I went and farmed my magma blades. It was so good. And then I got I can't even remember what it was, but it was like a certain crossbow that had like it was like the fastest shooting crossbow. I think it's the one you get from the round table, actually. I can't remember. But I got like a certain crossbow, and like I could just annihilate the sheep in no time. Oh, not a bad spot. I just liked this spot because I could get my thin beast bones while I killed the birds. It seemed efficient. On my sorcerer playthrough, I would just use cone of whatever. What is it? Was it cone? I can't even remember. Whatever spell like does the fan attack, and you just take out like 5 birds at a time, and it's just like, oh my god, this is fucked up, but it feels amazing. I got so good at speedrunning, farming the grave scythes though. Like as soon as you're like in control of Torrent, you can go behind the first like Grace where White Mask Vares is, and there's silver and gold pickled foul feet on the ground right behind that like tower statue thing. And if you just grab those and take off and farm a grave scythe, and then go farm like enough runes that you can wield the winged scythe, you are so overpowered right off the bat. Like that's easily my favorite way to get overpowered. You can also take the samurai class and go grab Blood Flame Blade and just unsheath all the bosses that aren't resistant to bleed and fire. And that's really fun. That's what I started to really test towards the end, because it was just like, shit, if they nerfed my dual wield, like, do I even need to get the Grave Scythe, or should I just use Unsheath to kill the Twin Clean Rot Knights? And honestly, all you needed to do was that. Yeah, Unsheath hits for like, it hits like a truck. It really does. And that's what I was starting to, again, like really get into testing, was it was just like, okay, if I can get all of these runes stacked up. I liked the Nagakiba more as well, but I liked also keeping that entire storyline open for like a tutorial video's sake. So, like, I agree with you, but for tutorial's sake, I tried not to. And there really is no difference for, like, tutorial's sake. But personally, yeah, absolutely. That motherfucker dies. He does usually help me kill Bloody Finger Yuri. And then he dies. What would be best is if you could let him die in the fight with Bloody Finger Yuri and then just finish Bloody Finger off. That'd be sick. But no, I got really efficient. Like, I would hit 2 of the catacombs, and I would be able to get my, whatever the imps were called, the Stone-Fanged Imp summons that I started with. I'd be able to get them to, like, +5 or 6 out of just 2 catacomb runs. And then I'd use whatever weapon I was testing at the time with Bleed to fight the twin Clean Rot Knights. And I got to the point where we would just annihilate them. Like, if they focused on the Fanged Imps and let me get, like, 2 attacks off, they were dead. And it was so good. I felt like anybody could, like, mimic it. I think the last thing I was doing was actually testing dual slash with a katana. So I had, like, a Rivers of Blood light and then spinning slash. Because, again, it was just like, well, if I can't dual wield. But that's when I was just like, wait. What if I just do all this to get to the magma blades and I dual wield magma blades? And everybody I talked to was just like, why on earth would you ever farm 2 of one of the rarest weapons? And it's like, because I want to dual wield it. And I fucking did it. Actually, I did it twice. Oh, I didn't do it twice. I attempted it once without Silver Pickled Foul Feet to increase my drop rate. And I spent like 6 hours grinding and I didn't see a single magma blade. And then I went back with Silver Pickled Foul Feet and it took like 2 or 3 hours. And it, like, it was like, okay, it kind of mattered, I think. Oh shit, we're about to come up on break time. Can we get like 2 catches in? Come on. Can we get a bite? Can we get a bite? Can we get a bite? Mo? Yeah, I could see that. Kneel. 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 Getting horse-like there at the end. Kneel. Oh, yeah. I don't know if any of the bosses gave me... I mean, besides those 2 that I mentioned earlier. Those 2 that I mentioned earlier were probably the worst I've ever had in, like, all of From Software history. But if I remember correctly, before that, it was Vort. The ugly baby Bort. I can't actually remember what his name is. Bort. Is it Bort from Boreal Valley? Or Vort? Or Vortiad? I don't remember what his fucking name is. The big dude that uses a mace from Dark... Yeah, Vord. Whatever. From Boreal Valley. I remember playing the, like, Bort Samson. Bort! Aw, where's Bart? Here you go, Bort. The day that game came out, I just remember all of my roommates struggling to beat him, and then finally one of us was just like, oh shit, if you just stand in one spot, he can't hit you. And it's just like, wait, you just walk in this, oh my god, if you just walk in this one spot, he just can, yes! That's our best one, right? Or no, we had 95, that's our heaviest one, though. Nice! Getting close. Oh shit, no, not Spectrumize. Alright, I am going to throw out the aquarium. Actually, you know what? No, there's no way. We could try. Let's try. Oh, I'm wasting time. If we catch 6 more... Oh, like the first Gunder. I mean, that's fair. He's definitely, like, the most aggressive first boss I think they have in the game. I played Pyromancer when Dark Souls 3 came out, so, like, when he transformed, I annihilated him. It wasn't even a joke. It was just sad. We probably should end on that high note. Let's end on that high note. Alright, let's pop open that bad boy. Oh, why do I keep doing that? Oh, because of the old... Yep, never mind. Just boot. Kick to the face! So... Oh, wait, no. We're good. We just do this. As always, YouTube, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the new series. I hope you're all enjoying it. It looks like the old one at this point. I know. But it'll change a little. Actually, you know what? It's different. Get the fuck out of here. It's different. It's same but different. And that's what I do. Nah, I'm kidding. Thanks for watching. But this is the end of this episode.